This is the Ridgeway, sometimes called Britain's oldest road. It's been used by ancient Britons for thousands of years, and it's steeped in history, myth, and folklore. Today, it's a national trail, and every year thousands of people walk along it the wrong way. Welcome to the Songline of the Ridgeway. Welcome back, my friends. So, this is a new series of videos I'm doing on the folklore of the Ridgeway. So if you're new around here, I'm a folklorist and a storyteller, and I'm particularly interested in how myth and folklore intersects with the natural world, with the landscape itself, kind of the dreaming of that landscape. So the Ridgeway, if you're not from these parts, it's a natural formation. It's called Britain's oldest road, but it's not man-made. It's just a series of hills, a high point in the landscape, a ridge, if you will, and a way along that. And it stretches from just sort of north of London all the way down to Wiltshire, where I live. And it terminates in a stone circle, a ancient Neolithic temple complex called Avebury. Think Stonehenge, but much, much larger. And all sorts of ridgeways, because there are many, all converge on this one ancient solar and stellar temple. Most people walk from Avebury to a place called Ivanhoe Beacon. I can see the logic of that. It's because the prevailing winds are behind them, but you're kind of ignoring the historical precedent there. If you walk the other way, from east to west, you are following in the footsteps of our ancient ancestors and forebears, the ancient Britons, going right back to the hunter gatherers when the last ice sheets receded from the island of Britain. It's been used as a route to look for prey, to follow game in the old Stone Age, and it's been used as a pilgrimage, a processional route to Avebury, as I've already mentioned. It's been used by cattle drovers across the centuries. It's been used by marching armies. So walking along the Ridgeway, we are following in the steps of history. We're following the Danes. We're following the Vikings marauding across Wessex. We are following in the footsteps of King Arthur fighting off the Anglo-Saxons. We're following in the footsteps of the Celtic peoples of Britain that built Iron Age hill forts all the way along here as defensive formations. And as we move further and further towards the head of the serpent, that is Avebury Temple, we're moving further back through history, through myth, through legend, into the deep time, into the dreaming of Britain. And if you don't mind me borrowing a concept from Aboriginal Australian mythology, it seems to me like the Ridgeway itself is like a dreaming serpent. And by speaking the songs or stories of that landscape back to it, we are sort of slightly stepping back into the mindset, slightly into the footsteps of our ancient forebears. That's why I've called this series of videos the Songline of the Ridgeway. So a bit of a different video this to what I normally make. It's going to be quite slow viewing, slow television. So get yourself a cup of tea, carve yourself a spoon, and follow me and my partner Tamsin and our dog Nero with a tent as we walk along this ancient trackway, camping out on the land and sharing the stories of the landscape as we go. So I've walked this route many times before, but this time Tam and I only had 5 days, so we didn't start at Ivanhoe Beacon. That's longer. We started about halfway, which is in the town of Goring. We did that because we could get the train to Goring and walk the rest of the way, and then just get a lift home, because I only live about half an hour away from Avebury Stone Circle. So we took the train to Goring with Nero. With everything we needed on our backs. We packed as light as we could, but it's still pretty heavy going. And in this first episode, we will go from Goring, crossing the Thames, and we will head up onto the Ridgeway, camping out, and our first destination point will be a burial mound or a moot. Scutchamer knob. Sometimes called the King's Barrow. It's said to be the final burial place of King Quickhelm, who was an Anglo-Saxon king. It was also said to be the place where the Danes, the Vikings, moved through on their way to conquer Wessex until they were stopped by the future King of England, Alfred the Great. So in this first episode, we are on the footsteps of King Alfred. This is the poshest town in England. Gonna get some light refreshments. We've barely begun our walk. Cheers, babe. Leaving Goring and Streatley behind, finally getting into nature. Get onto the actual Ridgeway soon, I hope. Buzzard, a good omen.
Is that a good omen?
The dog is so happy. Sainsbury's bag, we are such campers.
Oh, so nice to get your feet out of your shoes and socks though. About 4 miles.
We've walked about 4 miles?
Yes, but that includes like the train station walking.
Ah, right, okay. Well, it's better than a kick in the face.
You're better than a kick in the face.
Thanks, babe. Bye now. Thank you, Farmer's Field. Back on the road. It was a nice, refreshing sleep. Gonna try and get to the King's Barrow for lunch. It's in about 3 hours' time along this chalk road. Isn't it?
Good job that you do.
That is called Lowbury Hill, and there used to be a Roman temple on top of there. Quite a nice place for a temple. There's nothing left though, so we're not going to walk up there. What's that?
This is called Lowbury Town. This is getting low to get our strength back.
Snail mode.
Snail mode.
Wonder if my hat will be on a post near the White Horse. You having a stretch?
Yeah, I'm a bit sore. Why are you cutting it like that?
Just to really wind you up.
That's freaking weird.
There you go.
Hello, sorry. You're hiding in the bushes.
Dog on the left.
Dogs found something then. Hogweed. We're a bit low on the old provisions, so foraging our dinner. Here we go. I'm having that one. Look at these. Oh yeah. Having that one. Having that one. Gonna hit myself in the face in a minute. Having that one. Having that one. That's what you want, these little broccoli florets. You've got to be a bit careful with hogweed because it's sap that you can see on my fingers activates with sunlight and burns, so my hands are stinging a bit now, so careful when gathering in sunny conditions. That is a very disused railway line. So we've come from Goring here. We're now here. Still a fair way to go. Looks like the Ridgeway is about to go underneath the A34. So I think Nero's heard the banging of that tractor that just went by, and he's not coming on apparently. Just got a message from Tam. Left my bag there, I'm sure it'll be alright. Oh, I went marching right on ahead, didn't I? There she is. Oh, he's coming now, I think. Yeah, this is really nice not to have a pack on my back for a minute. There they come. You're wondering why the Ridgeway is white. It's because it's chalk. You probably know that already. So chalk like the hill figures of Uffington, chalk like the white cliffs of Dover. In fact, the ancient name given by the classical writers for the mysterious island of Britain was Albion, which means white, because of all the chalk. Also, the chalk is pockmarked with flint, lots of flint here. The bane of farmers' ploughs, but probably very useful to Stone Age peoples for tools. What are you doing there, Tammy? Trying to put your pack on?
I'm stuck.
What are you doing? Why didn't you put your arm in the strap? There you go. And we're off. hopes for water have been dashed. Someone, in spite of Dr. Basil Phillips's memory, has disconnected the water. He was a countryman. Hello, boy. Come on then, let's go. Come on then, let's go.
Pretty sure we go that way though.
Yeah, it must be. Under the road. Under a creepy bridge. Foxes know. Ah. Here we go, some local Anglo-Saxons. Oh no, it's Alfred. King Alfred defeating the Danes. Silly Danes. And fittingly, it's England versus Denmark on the night before solstice. So perhaps England will get a win, spurred on by Alfred the Great. Ilsley, remote amid the Berkshire Downs, claims 3 distinctions over her sister towns, far famed for sheep and wool, though not for spinners, for sportsmen, doctors, publicans, and sinners. Sam's gone into tortoise mode again.
And the snail.
Well, come to where the Ridgeway bisects another road here, with a small car park. Nice car there. Oh, and the police present.
Boy.
Okay. Oh, now we're in this field of lichen and algae that's blemishing the landscape. I'm not as fit as I'd like to be.
Not Nero. Recording me as a snail.
Have we bitten off more than we can chew, babe?
I think they might have.
Are we going to get to Avebury by solstice?
Might have hit the bus.
Why are you strangling me, mate?
Oh no, definitely not.
We're doing a bag swap. Tam's going to wear my bag, just so we get sore in different places. I think that is Scutchamer Knob up ahead on the horizon. Trees growing out of the burial mound. What do you reckon, Nero? Ah, a bag of shit. An uncommon sight along the Ridgeway. A gift for the fairies, perhaps. Or just a terrible human being. There's trees that's grown all over this burial mound now. Must be somewhere in here. overgrown. Well, certainly a good camp spot.
Took a load of fanny.
So much flint everywhere. Find an arrowhead with all of this. Look at it all. Oodles of it. Ah. Perfect. Forest, burial mound, sunset, fire pit, broken bottle of water.
That'll do.
I think we found our camp spot for the night. It's only 4 o'clock, mind, but we can cook some food and rest. Oh, that's fucking good. After a long day's walk. We've only done 8 miles and there's 28 miles to go and only 3 days to do it in. It'll be fine. You enjoying that, babe?
That's the best bit ever.
So this tastes, some people say like asparagus, but I don't think it tastes like asparagus. It is probably Britain's most underrated and criminally underused wild edible. And it's going to go with our gnocchi. Gnocchi, as I like to call it. Pocket salt. Looks a bit like MDMA. Uh-oh, how am I going to mix that in? Oh, yeah. Well, maybe it doesn't look that appetizing anymore.
It does look pretty damn good.
Does it? Go on, put the cheddar right in there. Cheddar makes everything better.
It does. It's pretty good for a camp meal.
Gnocchi. Everybody loves gnocchi with at least one wild food ingredient.
That does look really good.
So we're camped here in a little strip of beach woodland up on the Ridgeway, and just here is a burial mound called Scutchamer Knob. Strange name. No one really knows how it has this name, but this is also sometimes called the King's Barrow, and legend has it that King Quickhelm, an Anglo-Saxon king, is buried here. He was alive in about the 7th century, and he was one of the early kings of Wessex. And according to legend, he was killed on this spot right here by the King of Mercia, King Edwin. This is when England was all squabbling Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. And apparently he was laid to rest there, so local people used to, when they come up here, doff their cap to the mound in honour of the king. This place also features in later legend to do with Anglo-Saxons and the Danes. When the Vikings, the great Viking army, was marauding its way down from East Anglia to conquer Wessex, they were told that if they reached this mound, they would never need to return home again across the sea. So they would conquer England, Anglo-Saxon England. They reached this place at night, but then King Alfred's forces, King Alfred's the Great's forces, ambushed them at night and killed them all in their sleep. So they never made it back to Denmark because they were all dead. I'm not sure how much truth there is in that legend because there hasn't been a huge amount of evidence of conflict here, and we don't know who was really buried in that mound. It was probably an Iron Age burial. But interestingly, this was the site of a shire moot from the Anglo-Saxon period onwards. That's like a kind of small parliament, a gathering of local chieftains and commoners to make rules and set boundaries and sell produce and find a wife. And this kind of fair went on for a long time until the Middle Ages, until it was finally put down by the Puritans because there was too much drunkenness and debauchery at this fair on top of a burial mound. Now, just the occasional weary traveller camps out here, swapping stories for a pinch of baccy or a wee dram of whiskey or what have you. Really beautiful place. You carving a spoon, babe? Nero, stop panting. When this burial mound, this hill, this knob, if you will, was excavated in the 19th century, they didn't find any evidence of a burial of a Saxon king or an Iron Age king or any at all. It could have been robbed. But what they did find was a big stump of an oak tree wrapped in willow, which was probably the moot stake. It was the central point where the great Anglo-Saxon assembly, parliament, would have been held by the chieftains of Wessex. It also probably would have been where the great beacons would have been lit when there were oncoming invaders. Who knows what happened when the great heathen army of Danes and Vikings marauded their way east to west along the Ridgeway. But we know how that ended, with their defeat at the hands of the Anglo-Saxons under King Alfred. Ethelred, his older brother, was, as we all know, unready for the Viking incursion. But Alfred, he wasn't. It's really peaceful here on top of this burial mound, high above all the other settlements. There's another tent in the woods over there, so we're not alone tonight. We've got company. There's a girl in a van on the road as well, just lent us some water, which was lovely of her. So good feelings at this time of year. It's a good time to be here. So when this burial mound was created, this hill would have been completely bare of trees. So the burial mound behind me here, which has been hollowed out by grave robbers, but would have stood on the hillside, true and proud. This whole area has been excavated. You can see it's kind of like a crescent shape now, kind of like a natural amphitheatre, you might say. Not natural, man-made amphitheatre of the dead. Come on then. Where's Tam? Let's find Tam. Show us where Tam is. Come on then. Come on, boy. Where's Tam? Come on. Bob, back to camp now. And there's camp. What are you doing, babe? You're carving a spoon? If you're wondering what spoon Tam is carving in the video, it's this one here in my hand, which, unbeknownst to me at the time, was a Ridgeway gift for me. Ridgeway, June 24. Very proud of my fiancée for her spoon carving skill. If you want to check out her website and see her creations, I'll put a link in the description. It's totally there.
The silhouette of you and Nero is so cute, babe.
No, you're looking after me. What are you doing?
Come on, buddy. Good.
Nero. Tam dreamt of gold and treasure, including a gold gulf.
And also crows.
And crows.
Big crows.
Perhaps it was the presence of the king's burial mound and buried treasure.
And crows shitting on the floor.
Right, and we are leaving the barrow of King Quickelm. Thank you, your Madge. What's that?
Said you got a little bugger in your nose.
Nice orchid. So in the next episode of the Songline of the Ridgeway, we will follow in the footsteps of King Alfred, and we will go to his hometown of Wantage, and we will go further back in history to another king, this time King Arthur, moving from history into legend. So as we go further along the Ridgeway, history changes into legend. So I have two options on my screen now. One of them is the next episode of the Songline of the Ridgeway, when I've made it. The other one will be a story about King Arthur and him buried with his sleeping warriors under another hill, just like Scutchamer Knob. It's called The Legend of the Sleeping Warriors, or as I like to call it, The Wizard, the Welshman, and the Hazel Tree. I'll see you next time for the Songline of the Ridgeway.